My name is Carolyn Kandusi, Senior Program Officer with the Segal Family Foundation, and our core work is very simple: to champion social change in Africa by empowering and investing in leaders. We believe that the mandate to transform Africa is in the hands of the leaders, and we know that these leaders are individuals, and we believe when they're doing well, then they can deliver better on the vision that they have for Africa. I think something which I've learned and something which I'm inspired to continue to champion is realizing that behind organizations are people. So, as much as philanthropy and development talks a lot more about impact and transformation at community level, but it's people, humans with soul, who are behind these organizations, and we must take care of these people. And this is what has inspired my foundation to continuously invest and lean into conversation around well-being and wellness as we challenge ourselves, our own practices, our own giving in a way that is supporting partners to be much more healthy. And how does that look like for a philanthropist? This looks like being much more flexible when it comes to working with the partners, building trust-based philanthropy, which is really working with the partners as partners, recognizing that there's the power gap between funders and doers, and try to find most human ways to bridge that gap with a very honest intention. I think that's one way I believe we can make our ecosystem much healthier. Especially in Africa, we still have stigma around well-being, wellness, mental health. When a person asks you, how are you? You have to say you're fine unless you have malaria or typhoid. But nobody really knows your mind, your spirit, and your energy. And we're still at a space where we're standing to destigmatize all these conversations. So I think my call out for other funders is to create the space for all the communities, the ecosystem, sort of like, create the space and normalize this conversation. Let's be more human. That's my calling. When you do better, when you feel better, then you can deliver better. Otherwise, it's a lot of burnout. The sector is tired. The world is crazy. There's a lot happening. So much change is going on. So this basically the ecosystem is getting harder for social change makers. So we must make sure that we come through as a collective and find what does healing look like and what does being a human feels like. I think we just need to go back to the basics of humanity. I am because you are. I feel like this is a conversation starter. I've seen faith leaders, justice leaders, social change leaders, philanthropists, social change makers. This is a fireplace, it's where the conversation began. And I think it can only get better and more clear and more coherent because there's still that element where well-being in Africa is related to laziness. Like you can't say you're tired and you're supposed to be working. Where as a social change maker, you feel like you have so much that you need to do to solve the challenges in your societies, and you feel like you're the last person you should be looking out for. And this setup and this summit has just like, enabled people to remind each other and give each other permission that if you're not doing well, there's no way you can serve well. So I feel that this is a movement. Africa is rising in not only fighting social justice, but also like, just wellness of people. So I'm super excited to see what the future holds, the conversation and the change in practices. I think it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, but the permission that people have, the ambience has given people permission to just be honest and have very honest conversations. And for me, that's a very good start to a larger continental shift in well-being and wellness.